Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about new account fraud. And there's a number of ways to make money through new account fraud. And there's a couple of ways to describe it. So it could be like enrollment, signing up for a credit card, signing up for a bank account, signing up for an e-commerce platform, signing up for a video game account. And there's a big spectrum between the return on investment for each of those, as well as the effort to do each of those.
And the way it's done.
Yeah, so let's unpack that today.
So, okay, new account fraud, sign-up fraud. Oh my.
Yeah, I know. We'll do our best.
Let's talk about it from my personal experience first, and we'll dive into these other topics. New account fraud, basically getting someone's personal information, signing onto that credit card account that you were talking about, creating that new account, and then using the stolen card to go out and buy products, services, things like that. It's interesting that back in 2016, new account fraud on that type of technique was 4%. 4%. Since 2016, it's about 60% right now. And that's because credit card fraud.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because retail merchants have gotten better at detecting stolen credit card fraud. So fraudsters have just pivoted to new account fraud. We'll bypass that. We won't worry about stolen credit cards. We'll just set up new accounts in your name.
Right.
All right, so that's new account fraud on that level. But as you said, you've got setting up accounts for rewards points.
Yeah.
You've got setting up accounts for video games.
Yep.
Or I was talking to a company today that they were experiencing micro deposit fraud.
Yep.
So you set up new accounts. The company, in order to verify the account, sends out 2 small deposits. Now, you would think that's not much. These deposits are anywhere from 2 cents to up to $1. But if you're setting up a few thousand of these,
it adds up pretty quick. Yeah,
and then getting the money out as quickly as you can.
$3 grand a week, $4 grand a week. That's a pretty good
Very
paycheck.
profitable, especially if you're in
paycheck.
some place like Vietnam or one of these countries that's very poor all of a sudden.
Yep.
So you've got these different types of techniques. It goes back to that idea that I was talking about, that if you've got a product or service that makes money, a fraudster can and will make money on the same product or service.
And there's a few ways for them to go about it. So if you're setting up an account for like an e-commerce store or a video game, you don't need to provide anything other than like an email and a password. Versus setting up an account for a bank, you're going to need a little bit more actual identity information.
Right, so
how do they go about that?
So are you stealing an identity? So identity information, there's 2 ways. You can use the traditional identity theft instrument of stealing someone's information, using that stolen information, that stolen PII, to set up the account, or you can commit synthetic fraud. And we'll actually talk about synthetic fraud in another episode of this. You can do that, but this other thing is sometimes you don't even need that. You just need an email address to sign up for an account, and that tends to be profitable as well. It's interesting that if you look at the return, a lot of the times, the amount of profit will sometimes determine the attack method.
Yep.
So instead of doing it manually, you'll
use automation, bots. Yep, that's right. Well, I would also, from what we've seen, the kind of scenarios where you use bots have a lower barrier to entry. You're probably not going to use bots to stuff stolen identities because the ROIs, you're not going to have thousands and thousands of stolen identities, right?
But you can do micro deposit all day long with bots.
You could, that's true. You could, and they absolutely do that.
Absolutely do.
We're going to have a fintech segment that's going to unpack that a little bit more because obviously very relevant. But so that's a high level on new account fraud. Thank you all. We'll see you all on the next segment.